People assume Europe ran out of cheap places because it became safer, but the more uncomfortable truth is simpler. Cheap usually means someone already decided it wasn't worth staying. What gets sold as opportunity often begins as relief. Relief from pressure, from noise, from cost. And then, slowly, it turns into something heavier. Something sticky. From the outside, this topic looks obvious. Empty cities, falling populations, and homes cheaper than a used scooter. Move in, renovate, enjoy the upside. Up close, it stops being obvious very quickly, because cheap property never exists alone. It arrives attached to systems, habits, and quiet failures that didn't disappear just because the price did. Here's the part nobody leads with. The low cost isn't the incentive, it's the compensation. Remember that. It closes the loop later. Across Europe, the same cities keep resurfacing in headlines, not because they want attention, but because attention is cheaper than decline. They don't need money. They need people who still believe this might work. This isn't advice, it is an encouragement, and it's not fear dressed up as realism. It's filtered information, the kind you usually hear after someone else already paid for the lesson. Some of these places look charming and quietly drain you. Some dangers are exaggerated. Others are normalized so deeply they stop being mentioned. One feels broken until you notice what still functions. Another feels fine until you realize what it quietly takes from you. And one, especially one, forces the most honest question in this entire conversation. What are you actually willing to live with? If you prefer thinking ahead instead of explaining later why something made sense at the time, this channel exists for you. Subscribe if you like quiet exits and backup plans. By the end of this, you won't just know where homes are cheap. You'll understand why what that price really buys, and why the number itself is almost irrelevant. Let's break it down. Number 10. Living here is like buying a classic car that photographs well and starts occasionally. Welcome to the outer districts of Sofia, Bulgaria. Not the cafes, not the optimism. The edges where prices fall fast and expectations follow. The city is large. Infrastructure exists. Healthcare works eventually. Properties under 10,000 euros appear in very specific zones, often tied to legal knots or long-neglected buildings. Jobs exist if you arrive prepared. Safety varies by street, not reputation, and locals will mention that casually, usually too late. The appeal is obvious: low taxes, low entry cost. The feeling of being early, but then reality settles in. Buildings that were never maintained. Paperwork that advances emotionally, not chronologically. Petty crime that isn't dramatic, just persistent enough to stay in your head. The emotional cost arrives quietly. You stop relaxing fully and start to plan exits more than futures. Dry note: it's improving, rarely includes a date. Picture this: cold concrete stairwells, footsteps echoing longer than expected, and lights that work just enough to remind you when they don't. Could you live like this, long term? Yes or no? Because the next city doesn't even pretend improvement is planned. Number 9, this one feels like a postcard that stopped mid-sentence. Welcome to Taranto, Italy. A city that remembers when it mattered. The sea is there, the food is real, and the warmth feels familiar. Property prices collapse near former industrial zones, sometimes shockingly. Work is limited unless you bring it with you. Environmental concerns are discussed openly and lived with quietly. The appeal is emotional, but the downside is physical. The emotional cost builds slowly. You feel paused while the rest of the country keeps moving. Dry observation and sea air improves the mood, but it doesn't rewrite reality. Picture this: warm evenings, salt in the air, and a low industrial hum that never fully leaves. Would you trade beauty for uncertainty, yes or no? Because the next place trades order for endurance. Number 8. Living here feels like stability on a short lease. Welcome to the outskirts of Patras, Greece. The zones nobody advertises. Infrastructure exists, properties are cheap and tired, jobs are scarce without connections, and services arrive eventually, or not at all. The appeal is pace, while the catch is unpredictability. The emotional cost isn't fear, it's fatigue. Brief rant: tomorrow is not a timeline. Picture this: heat pressing down, shutters closed, and scooters slicing through still air. Could you recalibrate forever, yes or no? Because the next city removes adjustment entirely. Number 7. This one is quiet in a way that eventually becomes heavy. Welcome to neglected districts of Riga, Lativa. The population decline is documented. Heating costs surprise newcomers and jobs exist elsewhere. The appeal is silence, while the direct downside is isolation. The emotional cost comes with weight. Days blur and weeks compress. Winter doesn't end here, it negotiates. Picture this: gray light, snow absorbing sound, and a radiator clicking like it's thinking about it. Could you live inside stillness, yes or no? Because the next city isolates you socially instead. Number 6. This place feels alive until it decides you're part of the background. Welcome to Marseille's northern districts. Energy here is real, tension is real, and rules exist, but not evenly. The appeal is movement, while the cost is vigilance. The emotional cost is never fully exhaling. Here, character is often chaos with better branding. Picture this: warm nights, distant shouting, and helicopter blades cutting the air. Would you live in alert every day, yes or no? Because the next city erodes patience, not nerves. Number 5. Here, decay is procedural. Welcome to forgotten blocks of Bucharest, where cheap properties exist. Maintenance here is theoretical, and jobs exist elsewhere. The appeal is proximity. The downside is neglect. The emotional cost is resignation. Someone is always handling it, but no one ever does. Picture this: flickering lights, cold tile, and a smell that never identifies itself. Would you accept slow erosion, yes or no? Because the next place erodes, trust itself. Number 4. This city insists everything is fine. Welcome to parts of Naples, Italy. Life here is loud, systems bend, and rules shift. The appeal is intensity. The cost is everyone has a cousin who fixes things, but you don't. Picture this: warm stone, loud mornings, conversations that sound friendly until they aren't. Could you live inside ambiguity, yes or no? Because the next city makes ambiguity permanent. Number 3. Here, optimism feels borrowed. Welcome to Palermo's forgotten quarters. You will find history everywhere but momentum nowhere. Cheap homes come with conditions. Paperwork is heavy and waiting is normal. The emotional cost is suspended life, quiet rant. Potential doesn't pay rent. Picture this: sun on old stone, empty streets at noon, and time just stretching. Would you wait indefinitely, yes or no? Because the next city breaks an assumption we've been carrying. Number 2. This is where the story shifts. Welcome to shrinking industrial cities in eastern Germany. Infrastructure works, streets are clean, safety is reasonable, and properties are cheap. So what's wrong? Nothing dramatic, nothing urgent, but also nothing pulling you forward. The emotional cost is emptiness, not danger. Remember this: it matters now. Picture this: silence, clean platforms, and trains passing through. Could you live without momentum, yes or no? Because number 1 explains why cheap still isn't simple. Number 1. Welcome to Charleroi, Belgium. Infrastructure works, healthcare exists, and jobs are close enough to tease. On paper, it beats several earlier cities because less chaos and more services. So, why is it here? Because this is the most honest trade-off. Nothing is falling apart, nothing is improving. What's really missing is belief. Living here feels like settling an argument you didn't start. Safe enough, connected enough, but quietly disappointed. The emotional cost is subtle. You stop imagining alternatives because convenience is a very patient trap. Picture this: gray mornings, trains leaving, everyone going somewhere else. This answers the opening line. Cheap isn't the reward, it's the warning label. These cities aren't failures, they're visible trade-offs. If you stayed until the end, you now understand what the price never tells you. Subscribe if you prefer clarity over comfort. Because being informed isn't pleasant, but it's better than finding out late.